Good morning and welcome to CityLine. It is great to be in your home. We have a great hour ahead of us. Later on, we'll be talking with Tacoma Rescue Mission. Darren Miller will be here to talk about, their kitchen remodel. They have a new thrift store, in addition to all the great things that they do for our wonderful city. We'll also be talking with Erin Dilworth. She is the Deputy Director of Communities for a Healthy Bay. She's here to spend some time chatting with us. And it has been a while since we have had her on the comfy couch. We're talking about the President and also CEO of Tacoma Urban League, Twina Nobles, who is also known as Senator Nobles. And then speaking of people who have two names, depending upon where you see them, my next guest I often see every Tuesday in the City Council chambers. And the last time I got to see this person was they were booming into my kitchen when we were filming during the pandemic. I'm talking about Joe Bushnell, Council Member Bushnell. You are Tacoma Council Member of District 5. It's great to see you in person.
Thank you. Yes, I'm excited to be here and sitting on this comfy couch.
This is the comfy couch, and boy, you know, it got kind of sleepy. It didn't get any use for about 2.5 years, but we are now very happy it's back in commission, and great that you are on it. This is your first time as council member on the comfy couch.
It is, you know, first of many, I hope.
Absolutely. So, when we talk about District 5, and boy, there is so much district news now as a whole, you know, in terms of what's happening here, what's happening there. What are the general boundaries of your district that make up that District 5 notation?
Yeah, so District 5 encompasses parts of South Tacoma, the South End, and the East Side neighborhoods in Tacoma. And if you basically draw a line from 56th Street all the way to McKinley, and then go straight south, and then all the way to the city boundaries where it's unincorporated Pierce County, you got Lakewood and UP. Okay. So it's basically like a big box towards the south of the city. Wow.
So you were inspired to run for city council in 2021. That was a hard time. I mean, anytime you talk about 2024, we were all like, ooh, rough year. What inspired you, of all things, to run for city council?
You know, I really believe at the bottom of my heart in public service and being of service to the community. You know, since I was a young man in high school, I went to Stadium High School.
Yay!
We're Tigers.
Yes.
I had done volunteer work. I had later joined the Marine Corps afterwards. Did some time overseas. I'd come back home and I wanted to continue to serve the community, so I joined the neighborhood council, eventually becoming board chair, and tried to volunteer in the community in other ways. And then, you know, the opportunity came up to run for city council, and I was like, I love this city. You know, everywhere I go, I'm always raving about how amazing Tacoma is.
Yes.
So I was like, you know what? People always said, be the change you want to see. And so I was like, let's go. So I hit the ground, you know, when the COVID restrictions lifted, and I was actually knocking on doors before I even had election materials to give out. Like that day that the governor was like, okay, we're lifting the restrictions, I was out knocking. So it started later than normal, right? But I really, really believe in the city and its potential, and I just can't help but want to serve our people.
And excuse me, when you talk about getting out there early and knocking on doors, in partnership with that, the most visible part that we can see of the council's job is the city council business meeting on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. I rarely miss that. That's how I got to know Tacoma 24 years ago when I first moved here, and only knew about Frisco Freeze, and that was it. Probably
it's a good place to know about.
Yeah, it is to know about. So those city council meetings at 5 p.m., there is so much that goes on. So the big question is the public able to attend at this point?
Absolutely.
All right.
You can attend in person, which is great, but you can also attend virtually now. Since the pandemic, you know, we had to shift on how we approach those council meetings, and so we do have a hybrid format. And it looks like we're going to be doing that in perpetuity, which is fantastic for engagement with the community, making sure people can stay at home with their families and still engage and be participants of our democracy here in Tacoma. And so I'm really excited to see that we're continuing that on, and I'm hoping that we can have this hybrid format for many of the other things that we're doing in the city as well, so that way we have as much access as possible for folks.
I love that. And when you say access, my brain goes access equals lowering barriers. And that's something that I think our city has done so beautifully since that pandemic, from laptops for kids who needed them to hybrid Zoom meetings and Teams meetings for people on special committees. Speaking of committees, you, as you said, you're a lifelong resident of Tacoma, proud resident right now of South Tacoma, I also know. And for the past 5 years, you have served on some really interesting boards and commissions. Give us a little teaser about some of those things that you decided you wanted to give your time to and how they inform you.
Yeah, I was on I still am actually on the Travel Tacoma Mount Rainier Board of Directors, which is a fantastic, like I said before, I love Tacoma. I love shouting about how amazing our city is. And that it's a marketing organization that helps bring tourism to our area. And, I was like, of course I would try and continue to do that because, it brings economic development to our area. It tells the story, the amazing story that we have here in Tacoma. And so I've been on that for many years. I was on the utility board as well, Tacoma Public Utilities, and that's an appointed position from the City Council. And it was really a journey and a fantastic, thing to be on because I don't think people realize how much infrastructure and how much work goes into running a utility. And we're unique as a city to have a utility. And so having a board of directors that is made up of the residents of Tacoma and that legacy and the electricity and the clean electricity that we have is very unique in this country. And having a city own it is even more unique. But
yeah,
I'm also on a bunch of different committees. Currently on the City Council Economic Development Committee. I'm on I was an alternate, I'm on the Infrastructure Planning and Sustainability Committee, which I've been going to since Councilmember McCarthy resigned. And then I'm also on the, oh my gosh.
That's okay. Yeah. It'll come to you at 4 in the morning. It'll come to you.
It will come to me.
It will. It will. So as we talk about those committees also have events attached. Every council member really has to stretch to be on those committees and those events and attend them. So in your district, what events are coming up here in the next few months that you want us to be aware of?
Yeah, there's a lot of really fun things happening. We just had National Night Out on Tuesday, but there's also some of the groups have moved it to Saturday so that more folks can attend. I'm gonna pull my notes here
Please
so that
do.
way I am not misquoting here. So on August 6th from 2 to 5, we're going to have Fern Hill, Blueberry Park, and Larchmont are doing their National Night Out.
Okay.
And then we also have a Summer Bash over at Stewart Heights Park on August 19th at 6 p.m. And then one of my personal favorites, Reggae on the Way, 2022 on South Tacoma Way in between 52nd and 56th Street. And that's going to happen on August 20th and 21st. So that they got live music, they'll have a ton of people out there, a lot of delicious food, and reggae is, if you haven't been out there, is phenomenal. And South Tacoma Way, I'll say, is a great place to have fun on any weekend. So definitely recommend, if you haven't been out there on the weekend, just head out there.
You're out there a lot. So when I ask this next question, it's probably something that you wake up in the morning and it's still on your mind. And that is, what are the challenges that are facing District 5 right now?
Yeah, we have certainly a lot of challenges. The level of crime in District 5 is very high. In the city as well, we've had a lot of folks being accosted or even killed, and that's just not acceptable. We have a lot of folks that are dealing with some very difficult situations, whether they're houseless or they've lost their jobs or they're not making enough and they're working full time. So we definitely have a lot of challenges in District 5, and I'm hoping that we can, make things better. I will say for all the challenges and things that do make the headlines, there's a lot of fantastic things that are happening in Tacoma. You know, it's all the amazing things are not necessarily captured in headlines all the time, right? And so for every difficult and challenging thing that we're dealing with as a city, there's like 100 great things. And I'm really optimistic about our future. And I think the community groups that I've seen and talked to, the different people that I've talked to, we're all in this together, and we're all trying to make, you know, strong neighborhoods and come out better. And I really see that, and I'm really optimistic about the future here, and I'm excited to see what we can come up with together.
And I love that about you because it shows on you. You have this glow when you talk. See, look at that face when you talk about the city of Tacoma. So how can residents get involved? In this last few minutes, I want to know about that, but I also want to know, what would you say to somebody who perhaps is listening and saying, okay, he says I should get involved, and how do I run?
Yeah, there are so many ways to be involved, and it's not just showing up to the city council meetings, which you can certainly do, and I love hearing from our residents and businesses, and as they come to the council meetings, you can serve on a board or a commission. If you are interested in something that's already filled up, we do have a lot of vacancies on some of those boards, but if it is already filled up and it's something that you're interested in, please apply for it, because then you'll be in the queue, and then when a vacancy does come up, you'll be able to apply. I really highly recommend joining a Safe Streets group. I recommend attending and maybe even joining the board of the South End Neighborhood Council, the South Tacoma Neighborhood Council, or if you're in other parts of the city, just look up your neighborhood council. Like being involved in your community and strong neighborhoods really make a strong city. And so there's many ways to get involved, and a lot of great groups out there. And if you're interested, maybe start your own neighborhood group, talk with your neighbors. You know, I felt like during the pandemic, we kind of had a diffusion of community involvement, a diffusion of like coming together, and we really need to get back to that. We need to make sure that we're talking to our neighbors. We need to make sure that we're having barbecues. National Night Out is a really great example of a concerted effort, but we don't need to wait for an event to do something like that. You can have a little block get together, invite everybody over to your house and do a cookout or a barbecue. Like, hey, everybody just bring. And so just having strong neighborhoods really helps our community as a whole. And there's just even that, getting involved at that level is really important.
It's huge. And you know, let's never underestimate the great uniter of people and food together, and then all the good things that come out of it. Joe, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. And this is going to become a regular occurrence, okay? So we'll get you your own pillow, and you'll have your own spot, maybe even a parking spot, because I want to hear more from you. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's really exciting, and I definitely plan on being here as many times as I can. I love it.
It's an ongoing date. We have much more to come on CityLine. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this quick message.